You can go inside my vocal cords through laryngoscope. You can see my vocal cords, but you will not find any words or sounds sitting in my vocal cords. So the voice itself, the sound itself is the spiritual manifestation in this physical world. The voice. The voice. So the voice is the metaphysical attribute. So therefore, inner journey, doorstep, therefore whenever we are going towards the spiritual journey, we are going to use this tool, the sound and the sound box. This is the background. This is the doorstep. This is the first step. How to use your voice. It's very important. So, the most important thing, the sound is with everybody. Everybody can talk. Everybody can produce the sound. But what special we are going to do in GCLP to augment our spiritual powers? We have to train our sound box in a specific manner. This is our first exercise. So, as I told you in my first lecture, as a spiritual seeker, the most important challenge is to create new organs of spiritual energies reception. And in order to develop new organs of spiritual energies, a spiritual seeker need to create a new inner space. Right? And a spiritual sound box activation method will provide this will provide the power to create the inner space, to awaken your spirit. Why spiritual seeker need new inner space? Partially I had already answered. As a spiritual law, the seeker must know that spiritual cardiac eye activation happens when the seeker gets connection with divine spark. Connection with divine spark is very simple, it's ample and is easy. And it is abundant in material plane reality. Right now the divine spark is present around us. But because our cardiac eye is not activated, we are unable to receive the signals of divine spark. For the same, we are going to use the methodology of spiritual sound box activation. So that's why we need a new space. Therefore, creation of new organ of spiritual reception needs new spiritual inner space that is done by spiritual sound box activation method. The sound box activation method is composed of two parts. The assembly of spiritual sound box activation method and the use of, very important point, and use of specific divine carol. Use of specific divine carol. Assembly and use of divine carol. This practice comprises of friction breathing by using the lower part of your throat, that is called halak. Make the sound from halak. lower part of the throat, and during this time keep your mouth slightly open. In this situation, lower jaw must be movable and stress free. I'm telling you the methodology. The methodology how to activate your spiritual sound box, right? Which makes a positive energy that can be sufficient in itself to induce slightly altered state of consciousness. This must be very much clear that this is not a breathing exercise. This is not a breathing exercise. It's not related to some yoga practice. This is not a breathing exercise. But your focus should be on your larynx. Larynx. The larynx is the special type of the structure that is present in your throat, the larynx, where the vocal cords are sitting. And this is not the practice of hyperventilation. It's not a breathing exercise. It's not a practice of hyperventilation. It's not a hyperventilation. It's not a breathing exercise. It is a training of your larynx. Since the intensity of the breath, and during this process, the intensity of your breath must remain normal. The only mechanical action of the use of air that is present inside your sound box without any connection with respiratory process. I am just telling you the steps, and in the practical session, inshallah, we are going to do the same. Right? So the purpose of whole activity is to activate the spiritual laryngeal energy. Your larynx, your vocal cords has a specific type of energy. This is the inbuilt type of energy that is the nature has given you. The Almighty has given you. This is very important. And we are going to use the same energy as a first energy to activate the spiritual process. And I am again telling you that do not pay any attention towards your breathing, but focus on awakening the laryngeal energy. Once the spiritual seeker becomes more accustomed to spiritual sound box activation method, at this point the seeker would be tuned with a free flow of energy that is present around the seeker in the form of divine spark. The moment you will train your larynx in a spiritual direction, the spiritual divine spark that is called tajalli, that is present around us, will start going inside our physical body and the spiritual body, because this is the key to activate the spiritual cardiac eye. If there is no connection with divine spark, the whole exercise will not progress. So the right intensity of the breath is important. Do not hyperventilate and do not pay any attention towards your breathing pattern. So you should maintain your breath at a normal level and at a normal rhythm. According to the nature of energy present, that is present around the seeker, this is very important. If the seeker is sitting at a nasty place, if someone who is sitting at a nasty place, at a noisy place, where negative, if the seeker is sitting in the group of negative people, jealous people, the moment he will start this process, the negative energy that is present around will start going inside. So you should be careful in selecting the space where you are going to start this. It should be a pious place. It should be a silent place. I will give you the 23 important points related to the selection and your posture that are highly desirable. And the basic purpose of the whole exercise is to experience the free flow of divine energies. This is very important. Because the Almighty started the universe with voice, kun fayakun. And the first thing that we did when we were born, we made a cry. So just combine everything. The cry, the word, the sound, the breath, and the heart. They all are interlinked. And the divine carol and the divine spark. So if the seeker is able to practice, will start. You will start experiencing different things that we are going to discuss. So the friction is generated during both inhalation and exhalation. It creates a wind type of sound. When I will teach you, you will experience a windy type of sound. Don't try to jump a mission of flawless spiritual sound box activation. Don't be so puzzled and don't focus on the specific type of results. The practice and the mercy of Almighty and the grace of Almighty will allow you to learn and experience more and more things. But don't jump. Don't be upset that I am not getting anything. Just do a kind of friction sound and let it adjust itself with time. It does not matter whether you are breathing through the nose or the mouth or you are using both nose and mouth. It does not matter. At the same time, mouth should remain slightly open. The only thing that you have to remember, the mouth should slightly remain open. The correct spiritual sound box activation happens once we have focused to lower pharynx and larynx. This Adam's apple is the right side. This Adam's apple, this one, means the lower part of your throat, and it should focus on your throat back. It should focus because the sound box is just like a pipe. So this is the front, and this is the back. So you should remain focused on the back of your vocal cords. These are the small items, and with practice and in physical practical sessions, inshallah, we will learn all these things. So if we are able to perform this exercise, the correct sound would be produced. That would be lower pitch, wind-like, deeper and more internalized. Possible mistake would be generation of friction from the upper pharynx. This one. If you are producing the sound from the upper pharynx, it means we are not doing the right thing. Breathing should remain normal, right? Do not hyperventilate. This technique does not aim at creating the type of breathing used in yoga exercises. It's totally different. You should not focus on your breath. The energetic action of this friction breathing will be greatly enhanced in following 4 positions. Perfect standing position. Perfect standing position. Belt low bowing position like this, where the backbone should be in rest. Prostration position. You should place your forehead on the ground, and sitting position with folded legs. These are the 4 positions. Yes. Perfect standing position, belt low bowing position, prostration position, and sitting position with folded legs. These are the 4 positions. Once the seeker becomes the master with open mouth, sound box, throat position, the seeker must attempt to practice this method with tightly closed mouth. Initially, open mouth. Once you are able to grasp and the fundamentals of stage 1, then you should practice the same thing with tightly closed mouth. Then the seeker would appreciate the difference in energies. Open mouth energy and closed mouth energy. You can easily appreciate the difference. In the beginners occasionally sense the spiritual sound box friction methods may make throat may cause some irritation in your throat. This sound box activity may cause little bit irritation in your vocal cords. So if you will keep using your breathing, and if you will keep practicing the thing, slowly it will go away. Or you can put half teaspoon of honey in your mouth to avoid friction. These are the 2 methods. Either you should keep practicing, it will go away by itself, or put a little amount of honey in your mouth. It will give you some soothing effect. Beginners sometimes repeatedly make the friction higher up in the sound box, closer to the palate, which causes spiritual sound box irritation. This feeling is the sign that we are not doing the maneuver in a right direction. So this is a method of this is a diagnostic type of method. You can diagnose that you are doing the wrong thing. If there is a continuous experience of irritation is happening, it means we are not doing the right thing. but keep practicing the same exercise for few minutes several times a day, and it will automatically resolve. So the end point of this exercise is the spiritual stimulation of laryngeal vibration. You have to learn a new technique to vibrate your larynx. This is the end point. Stage 1 end. Right? So once the seeker is master, then only he can go on the next step. So once the laryngeal vibration is attained, at this point of time, the seeker can add the divine carol in the exercise. And what is the divine carol? Is the word Allah. Allah. At this point of time, your throat is ready for divine carol, Allah. Right? So first you have to activate your laryngeal vibration, and then Allah. So this is the protocol. This is the protocol to utter word Allah. The moment you will say a word Allah, the divine spark will start focusing on yourself, and the positive energies will start to go inside your body. The important thing, when you are saying this carol, it should start from the tongue and it will end with the inner of your larynx. Allah. The al will start from the tip of the tongue and la will end with the inner of your larynx. Inshallah, when we will be in the practical session, inshallah, don't worry. So, up till now, we have discussed two important items: the laryngeal vibration and the divine carol. And in the end, the seeker would be able to do the practice of laryngeal vibration and the divine carol Allah without the use of breath. This is the practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. That's why I am saying practice. So, what is the synopsis of the discussion? The value of GCLP we have discussed. I am just giving the summary. Human voice system, two basic life facts: the respiration and the sound box, connection with the divine spark, laryngeal vibration, divine carol, and creation of new space and sending and receiving the signals.